Now on CoastTV News.
Peace talks pending. What to expect today as President Trump heads to Alaska for a meeting he hopes leads to an end to the war in Ukraine.
CIF shipments to start.
The Delaware residents win because now they can get their favorite wine shipped to their house.
The big change for Delaware consumers and vineyards set to take place later today.
We're seeing another round of fog this morning. Drive with care. Otherwise slightly cooler and drier for your Friday, with nice weather continuing into the weekend. Forecast details coming up.
Dewey stormwater solution, what the town council there could approve later today in addressing flooding issues.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
August 15th, 2025.
Yeah.
Elisa, I'm going to see what reaction I'm going to get here.
Oh, God.
The weekend's here, Elisa.
No, it's not. Give it 6 hours for me.
Okay.
And that's the weekend. It's almost the weekend.
I got the weekend vibes going.
You do? I don't know. I still feel like we've got a good half of our shift left to do,
know.
Matt.
Well,
You got to stay focused.
Bob, that is our weekly
gotta
debate. We have the
stay
same conversation every Friday.
It's hard to keep Matt focused on a Friday.
One day I will get the answer I'm looking for out of Elisa.
I don't know about that.
I think it should be today's Coast TV poll. When does the weekend start? I'm with Elisa 6 hours from now, shortly afternoon, and it's on. It really depends on your shift when you're working on a Friday. We're looking at areas of fog visibility now a little better, 9 to 10 miles in most places, down to 6 in Ocean City. We're still seeing the pockets of fog out there. It'll burn off here in the next couple of hours with 60s and low 70s out the door temperature-wise. 70 Millsboro, Bethany Beach 75, Lewis 77, Dew Point still on the muggy side in the 60s and 70s, but not as high as yesterday. We had a cold front come through. We had all that rain yesterday evening, and now the winds have shifted to the northeast, so slightly cooler and slightly drier. As we're looking at the satellite picture, once the fog burns off, we'll get into sunshine. There's that cold front to our south and east, and we have that northeasterly flow around high pressure. So we'll burn off that fog mid-morning. It's going to be another warm day, but a little drier by noon, mid to upper 80s inland, 70s at the coast. I think you'll stay there mid-afternoon, and then some clouds inland with temperatures in the mid-80s and looking good for your Friday evening plans, but still feeling like mid-90s this afternoon. So maybe go for a run early. Good running weather with clear skies, 70s and then 80s later this morning into this afternoon, and a few more clouds.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. We know it's clear, but we want to check in on some of the fog that we've been talking about this morning. This is moments ago. This is in Laurel, routes 13 and 24. And you can see still fog's a little bit of a factor there. Let's see if the fog has moved east of here in Millsboro.
Yes, we're going to stay on Route 24, and as you can see, it is clearing there. The visibility is much better than on the camera Matt just showed you in Laurel. This trend this week was that fog spreading east. We will see how that stays throughout the show.
And we're now taking a live look at the White House. President Trump getting ready. Right now, he's less than an hour away from his scheduled departure for a high-stakes summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And our top story this hour is that meeting. It's an effort from what Trump has said to stop the killing. That has marked Russia's 3-year war in Ukraine.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how President Trump says if all goes well today, there will be a second meeting soon, bringing all sides to the negotiating table.
They charge tremendous tariffs.
This morning, President Trump heading to Alaska to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin face-to-face in the hopes of moving a step closer to ending Russia's 3-year all-out assault on Ukraine.
If it's a bad meeting, it'll end very quickly. And if it's a good meeting, we're going to end up getting peace in the pretty near future.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was not invited to Alaska, but President Trump hopes for a swift follow-up, including all parties.
All I want to do is set the table for the next meeting, which should happen shortly.
Zelensky meeting instead this week with European allies, signaling their support and determination to hold the line against further Russian aggression, including prioritizing a ceasefire and security guarantees for Ukraine over any talk of giving up Ukrainian territory.
The president's hope is to achieve some stoppage of fighting so that those conversations can happen.
Secretary of State Rubio among the high-level U.S. officials set to join today's talks following a one-on-one between Presidents Trump and Putin and capped by a press conference, though it's not clear if both presidents will take questions. During a 2018 Helsinki summit, President Trump took criticism for appearing to defer to Putin over questions about Russian meddling in the 2016 election. In recent weeks, he's sharpened his tone as Putin has defied repeated calls to stop the assault on Ukraine.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth.
Now voicing optimism that both sides will agree to a long-sought peace. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New information this morning about people weighing in on the future of the Francis Scott Key Bridge replacement project in Baltimore. According to the Maryland Department of the Environment, a public hearing is taking place next week. Officials say the meeting will focus on a possible decision to change wetlands permits as well as gathering feedback from the community. And this is scheduled for August 20th, again in Baltimore.
New this morning, Delaware winemakers and consumers will soon be getting a taste of long-awaited change. Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign House Bill 187 this afternoon. The law would allow licensed producers to ship limited quantities of wine directly to consumers' homes with age checks and delivery safeguards. This would make Delaware the 49th state to allow direct wine shipment. Local wineries say it's a business boost and a big step forward after a decade-long push in the first state.
State's going to get more money in their coffers. The Delaware residents win because now they can get their favorite wine shipped to their house. And we, as small wineries in the state of Delaware, we win too.
According to Governor Meyer's office, he is scheduled to sign House Bill 187 at 3:30 at Harvest Ridge Winery in Marydale.
And this morning, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is in Ocean City to take part in the Maryland Association of Counties Conference. He's scheduled to speak at a fireside chat that's hosted by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Ocean City Chamber of Commerce. The discussion will focus on boosting economic growth across the Eastern Shore. Now, Senator Angela Alsobrooks, she was scheduled to take part in this as well, but her office announced she tested positive with COVID-19 and is no longer attending.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore will attend that event on Saturday. On Saturday, Moore is set to deliver the closing address. This is scheduled for 11:15 at the Roland Powell Convention Center.
And former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, he could be hinting at a future run, posting on his Facebook page that you can see right here saying, quote, slightly used 2024 RV, only 15,000 all Maryland miles, never slept in, could make a good deal, or here it comes, I guess we could always rewrap it and head back out on the road again. Last year, Larry Hogan ran for the U.S. Senate, but lost in November to Angela Alsobrooks.
Flood mitigation in Dewey Beach is getting a much-needed upgrade. According to the agenda for today's town council meeting, officials will discuss and could vote to approve the pump station project on Reed Avenue. This comes after Dewey Beach received a federal grant to build the facility. It's all in an effort to control flooding. If approved, the new $1 million pump would be built on Reed Avenue, one of the heaviest flooded streets. A little over a year ago, Dewey Beach Town Manager Bill Zolper said it had become a big problem, even spreading as far as Dewey's major roadway, Route 1, and he hopes this will be a big help.
During high tides and major nor'easters, it crosses Route 1 with the water, shuts Route 1 down, and then everybody has to go down 24 to 26 to get to Bethany Beach.
And Zolper estimates it will take about a year and a half to 2 years for people to see the new pump station. And this afternoon, we should learn more about Rehoboth Beach's plans for the sale of a property on Lake Girard. Under consideration is over 1,400 square feet. A Virginia Avenue property owner is looking to buy it. The value is reported at $540,000. Today's public hearing in City Hall is scheduled for 2 o'clock.
Yeah, also at that meeting, 2 community groups could eventually cease to exist. The city commissioners are considering sunsetting the Communications Committee and the Parking Garage Task Force. No vote, our final decision is expected just yet.
And we're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, turtle faces traumatic end. We'll tell you what new warning Mayor is informing boaters and beachgoers of.
Also, bittersweet toll fee boost. Delaware is increasing prices for its tolls across the state. We'll tell you how DelDOT aims to use a limited time offer to make the jump bearable.
And John Deere tariff turmoil. How much the company says it's already lost to the new deals or lack thereof. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
6:12 on our Friday morning. FH Fur Cam showing good visibility in Cambridge right now, 70 degrees, and the visibilities have come up a little bit, but still 6 miles in Ocean City and pretty good elsewhere. But do watch for those pockets of fog. That'll burn off mid-morning. Out the door this morning, we're in the 60s and 70s, mid-70s at the beaches with a northeast wind. We had a cold front that slid through last night. Of course, we had all the rain ahead of that front yesterday, but it's slightly drier, slightly cooler behind that front today. Here's your mowing forecast. I put it in the fair category today because the lawns are still really wet from yesterday's rain, but it'll start to dry out, and I think it's good to cut the grass Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday as well.
Thank you, Bob. Developing news in Milton, the police department is asking for the public's help after a hit and run on Tuesday in the parking lot of Walgreens. Police say the driver took off right after the crash. On your screen now are pictures of the truck and the person police say are in connection. Anyone with information is asked to contact police immediately.
In Maryland, a 17-year-old is facing adult charges for arson. This is on Grand Avenue in Salisbury. The fire marshal says the teen started the fire in a bedroom, and because people were home at that time, one of the charges is attempted first-degree murder.
Target and Ulta Beauty are ending their years-long partnership. More than 600 Ulta mini beauty shops have operated within Target stores since 2021. In a statement, Target says they are proud of the experience the companies delivered together. Ulta also shared a statement saying the partnership was one of the ways they brought the power of beauty to customers nationwide.
One of the country's most iconic agricultural brands says tariffs are hurting it. Tractor maker John Deere estimates tariffs could cost it $600 million this year. The company's already attributed $300 million worth of costs to tariffs for 2025. That, they say, helped sink net income for the quarter. Now, company executives said they're counting on trade deals and a more favorable tax environment help for the future.
We've got sunrise in about 30 seconds. We're looking at the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Cam, awaiting the sun. We're seeing fog hugging the ground right now. Some of that is dense, so watch for that to be a problem through mid-morning, and then we'll be seeing that lifting. Otherwise, a bit drier and cooler today. Then nice weather into the weekend. Warmer, a little muggier by Sunday. Your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 6:17, and here's a live look. We got some hints of sunrise there at the Roosevelt Inlet in Lewis. And Bob, we are getting a break from the heat today.
Yeah, you know, we saw that heavy rain yesterday evening, Matt. A lot of heavy rain. I picked up 1.5 inches in Millsboro, and that seemed to take kind of the heat and humidity out of the air as we had a front come through. So it's going to be a little cooler today. We're going to see sun and clouds, seasonable conditions with an onshore flow, maybe an isolated shower, but most of us stay dry. Then the weekend looking good. Low to mid 80s tomorrow, drier, and then more muggy on Sunday with temperatures upper 80s to close to 90. Visibilities have improved vastly, about 9 to 10 miles. Dover was down to about 2 miles about 2 hours ago. It has improved there, and 6 miles in Ocean City. So it's going to take a little while for that fog to burn off, probably the next couple of hours or so. 68 in Delmar, 69 in Dagsboro and Long Neck, 70 in Millsboro right now, with mid-70s from Ocean City up to Lewis. Dew point temperatures 60s and 70s, still on the humid side, but not as bad as yesterday as our flow is turning in out of the northeast. And once the fog burns off, it's lots of clear skies, and that front that brought the rain last night and yesterday is moving to the southeast, and to the north of it we have a northeasterly flow, slightly drier, slightly cooler with high pressure building out of southeast Canada, and we're looking at some showers off the Carolina coast, but that'll stay there as that front continues to move to the south. So we're going to see that fog burning off the sunshine and 80s inland areas as we go through the day. By noon, mid to upper 80s, but 75 in Dewey Beach, a little cooler along the coast, and a few more clouds this afternoon, maybe a spotty shower, otherwise mid to upper 80s. And then this evening, we're to see this marine layer building, I think, with this easterly flow, low clouds, and maybe some fog again overnight into Saturday morning. So watch for that. Starting out in the 60s and 70s, and then looking really nice Saturday afternoon, low to mid 80s inland, mid to upper 70s at the coast with that easterly flow. And then Sunday morning could see more fog again with lows in the 60s and a touch more humidity and a little warmer with temperatures in the 80s to close to 90 degrees. As we get a break from the extreme humidity the next couple of days, it bounces up again into the very humid range Sunday, and then much drier and cooler into next week, but feeling like mid 90s still this afternoon, upper 80s and lower 90s into your Saturday, and well, back into the 90s again on Sunday. We still have Tropical Storm Erin on the verge of becoming a hurricane east of the Lesser Antilles. It'll track north of those islands and become a major hurricane, we think, on Sunday, and then maybe a Category 4 north of Hispaniola. And then it starts to make that turn east of the Bahamas. It starts to turn to the north as we go into Wednesday. And all the models, we're looking at the spaghetti plots here, they're all taking it off the East Coast, maybe between the Outer Banks and Bermuda by next Wednesday and Thursday. And that'll be kicking up our surf and also maybe cause some coastal flooding concerns and also rip current risk as well. So this track was a little farther to the west yesterday. Now it looks like the model consensus is a little farther to the east, but still keeping it out to sea. So we'll be feeling the indirect effects of Erin next week. 86 in Harrington, 85 in Georgetown today, with mid to upper 80s along the eastern shore with sun and clouds, and a little cooler in Ocean City at 83, 84 in Chincoteague. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Good looking weekend, 83 Saturday, 89 on Sunday, a little more humidity, and then lower 80s next week, dry Monday and Tuesday, a chance of storms on Wednesday, and then pretty cool on Thursday, partly cloudy and a high of 80. But once again, we'll be feeling the indirect effects of Erin along the coast with the bigger waves, the coastal flood threat, and also the rip current threat as well.
All right, thanks, Bob. Happening now, tolls on 3 big Delaware highways. We're talking I-95, Route 1, and Route 301 are increasing tolls for the first time in more than a decade. Toll hikes will affect both in-state and out-of-state drivers, with the steepest increases for cash users and out-of-state Easy Pass users. On Route 1, Delaware Easy Pass users pay $1.50 on weekdays and $4 on weekends, while out-of-state Easy Pass holders and cash users will pay nearly double. DelDOT says rising costs from ongoing projects make the increase necessary to pay for infrastructure improvements.
We expect to see about $40 million realized in new toll revenue with these increases that are going into effect on Friday. And again, that's really to support our efforts to continue improving in the infrastructure across our state.
And DelDOT says another change is also going into effect now. It's drivers using Easy Pass lanes without a pass or cash will get a bill for the toll instead of a violation.
Although DelDOT is announcing new toll increases that are now in effect, the agency could offer some relief to the change. DelDOT is offering a free Easy Pass transponder through August 31st when you open a new Easy Pass Delaware account. And coming up, from tie-dye and tunes to classic cars and comments, it's going to be a fun weekend. Stay tuned for our cool things to do. Coast TV News Today. We'll be right back.
New in Delaware, history lovers have a new way to explore the first state. The Delaware Public Archive says it has launched an interactive historical markers map. Now, people can search by marker category, city, or historical theme. Archives say clicking on a marker reveals detailed information and also links to related content on the state's website.
A warning from marine environmentalists after a sea turtle was hit. A green sea turtle was struck by a boat propeller, according to the Murr Institute. Murr says the turtle was dead when they found it, and Murr says of its 34 responses so far this year, 50% of deaths and injuries are caused by boat propeller strikes. And that's just another reminder, always be careful when you're in the water for your safety and also the safety of wildlife.
Yeah, sad. They're definitely good reminders, Bob. I would expect to see lots of people on the beach and on the waters this weekend.
I would think so. You know, we're running out of weekends of summer, so I think a lot of folks will be out there for sure. With Chincoteague and Assateague looking at a mix of sun and clouds today, near 80 degrees. Rip current threat is low, UV index very high. Waves not too big, around 1 to 2 feet. Fenwick Island, you're in the lower 80s. 70s and lower 80s in Ocean City as well, with a mix of sun and clouds. On the bay side, the next 3 days, pretty good. 85 today in Cambridge with 83 Saturday, 89 on Sunday. Slightly cooler into Crisfield. Don't think you're looking at a storm today. A good looking weekend on the way. More on that coming up in the next half hour.
And the weekend is rolling in with good vibes, groovy times, and a chance to make some memories.
Coast TV's Christina DiRobertis has all your cool things to do.
Break out the tie-dye and bell bottoms because it's Hippie Fest time in Milford. The Milford Museum bringing the groovy vibes back to the Causey Mansion this Saturday from 3 to 8. Bring your lawn chairs and enjoy food trucks plus music from the Funsters. You can step into action for a great cause this weekend at the 3rd annual Shuck Cancer 5K Run/Walk. It's happening Sunday at Big Oyster Brewery in Lewis. If you're into comics, collectibles, and games, Blue Hen Comic Con lands at the Delaware State Fairgrounds Saturday and Sunday. The event benefits Make-A-Wish and Toys for Tots. Finally, car lovers, rev your engines. The Beachcombers Corvette Club of Southern Delaware is hosting their annual charity car show. It's Saturday morning in Georgetown, and it's open to all makes and models, with proceeds helping the Food Bank of Delaware. Head to CoastTV.com for event details, tickets, and more.
Now on Coast TV News.
Alaska awaits peace talks. The president leaving this morning to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin. What are the options Donald Trump brings with him in the attempt to broker peace in Ukraine?
We're seeing another round of fog this morning. Drive with care. Otherwise slightly cooler and drier for your Friday, with nice weather continuing into the weekend. Forecast details coming up.
Land purchase pushback.
We don't want to change any of that. We just want to come to the same spot.
We look at some of the concern over the potential sale of a Lake Gerard property in Rehoboth Beach.
Dewey seeks flooding fix, the multiple plans that could get approved today in addressing an ongoing problem.
This is Coast TV News Today.
August 15th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And the time is 6:31, where we've reached Friday, so it's always a good day to start talking about your weekend plans.
It is, but for Bob, it's an extra special Friday. Bob, you have something very special you're celebrating today.
That's right. It's my wife, Sue's birthday. Another Leo. Yes, we had your brother's birthday yesterday. Yeah, now we have my wife, so happy birthday, Sue. Love you very much. And another trip around the sun, and I'll have another one coming up in about a week. Here's the visibility out the door. 7 miles in Georgetown, 10 miles elsewhere. It looks like the visibility is improving, but we still have visibility issues through mid-morning, and then that fog will burn off. Starting out in the 60s and 70s, 76 Indian River Inlet, 76 Rehoboth, Lewis 77. Dew point temperatures are humid, but not as bad as yesterday, as the winds have shifted to the northeast. We had a cold front with all that rain yesterday afternoon and evening. That front is now off to our south and east, so we're in a drier flow around that high coming in out of the northeast. So a little cooler and a little drier. So a good looking Friday and a good looking weekend on the way. We'll burn off that fog as we go through the morning hours. Probably by about 9 it should be all gone, and then we're warming through the 80s. By noon, upper 80s, maybe from Seaford to Salisbury. A little cooler at the coast, 78 in Ocean City, 79 in Bethany Beach, 86 in Millsboro. A few more clouds this afternoon could cool us off a couple degrees, and maybe a stray shower. All in all, looking nice and then looking good for your Friday evening plans. And on the boardwalk today, looking good too. An easterly breeze, very pleasant with sunshine and some clouds. Upper 70s and then lower 80s late morning into this afternoon. Much more on that good looking weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Well, Bob just mentioned the fog, so here is the situation moments ago in Seaford at the intersection of Route 13 and 20. We can see that area is clearing up with visibility, which is always good for our drivers on their Friday morning commute. And now we're going to take a look at Salisbury.
Yeah, Lisa, we actually have a live look here at Salisbury University area, and Bob just mentioned moments ago burning off that fog. I think that is what we're seeing take place right now. You can see the sunrise there. Right corner of your screen. Little hints of fog there earlier, but I think that's going to be taken care of in a few moments.
Our top story this half hour, President Trump heading to Alaska today to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in hopes of moving a step closer to ending Russia's 3-year all-out assault on Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will not attend. Zelensky meeting instead this week with European allies, signaling their support, including prioritizing a ceasefire over any talk of giving up Ukrainian territory. Secretary of State Marco Rubio among the high-level U.S. officials set to join today's talks.
Its hope is to achieve some stoppage of fighting so that those conversations can happen.
And in recent weeks, President Trump has sharpened his tone against Putin as Putin has defied repeated calls to stop killing in Ukraine.
Later today in Delaware, winemakers and consumers will see a long-awaited change. It's because Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign House Bill 187 this afternoon. The law allows licensed producers to ship limited quantities of wine directly to consumers' homes. There are age checks and delivery safeguards as well. This does make Delaware the 49th state to allow direct wine shipment. According to Governor Meyer's office, he's scheduled to sign House Bill 187 at 3:30 p.m. at Harvest Ridge Winery in Marydale.
New this morning, people can have the opportunity to weigh in on the future of the Francis Scott Key Bridge replacement project. According to the Maryland Department of the Environment, a public hearing is taking place next week. Officials say the meeting will focus on a possible decision to change wetland permits as well as gathering feedback from the community. This will all take place on August 20th in Baltimore.
Dealing with street flooding in Dewey Beach, that could get a much-needed upgrade. Town council is set to discuss. It could actually vote to approve the pump station project on Reed Avenue. This comes after Dewey Beach received a federal grant to build the facility. It's all in an effort to control flooding, and if approved, the new $1 million pump would go on Reed Avenue, one of the town's heaviest flooded streets. Town manager Bill Zolper estimates it will take about 1.5 years to 2 years for people to see the new pump station.
And more streets in Dewey Beach are getting attention to prevent flooding. According to the agenda, town leaders are set to discuss and could vote on flood mitigation projects for Salisbury Street and Bayard Avenue, as well as a project on Dickinson Avenue Bayside. Dewey Beach leaders will gather today at that council meeting at 3 o'clock.
Happening today, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is in Ocean City to take part in the Maryland Association of Counties Conference. He's scheduled to speak at a fireside chat hosted by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's also hosted by the Greater Ocean City Chamber of Commerce. The discussion will focus on boosting economic growth across the Eastern Shore. Senator Angela Alsobrooks was also scheduled to take part as well, but her office announced she tested positive with COVID-19 and is no longer attending.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore will attend that event on Saturday. Moore is set to deliver the closing address. The Maryland Association of Counties Summer Conference is taking place from August 13th to the 16th.
Republicans in Texas trying to redraw their congressional district maps, and some analysts are saying that was to give their party an advantage in the 2026 midterm elections.
Texas House Democrats are going to great lengths to block a vote on that plan. As Amy Kiley shows us, now their efforts might be coming to an end.
This is the most unsexy issue that will rip apart the fabric of our democracy.
The Texas redistricting standoff is at a critical juncture today. State Republicans are trying to redraw maps early in a way that could win their party 5 congressional seats in the midterms. State House Democrats are remaining outside Texas to break quorum and prevent the vote. Now they're giving 2 conditions for their return. One is the adjournment of a special session that's underway. That's expected to happen today. The Republican governor says he'll promptly call a new session, but that would force his party to refile the bill.
Those runaway Democrats are required to act on that agenda. They're failing to do their duty.
Texas Democrats say the second condition for their return involves California. They want Democrats there to propose their own new congressional maps to offset changes in Texas. The California legislature is expected to consider the issue next week.
We're putting the maps on the ballot, and we're giving the power to the people.
Democrats say they're fighting so that more voters have a voice.
They're trying to fix these maps to predetermine the outcome of the 2026 elections in favor of a Republican majority.
Critics contend that argument is now hypocritical.
Let me summarize Gavin Newsom's speech today. Gerrymandering is evil. Please vote for my gerrymandering.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A possible park purchase in Rehoboth Beach has some neighbors pushing back. Rehoboth Beach city leaders are considering selling a small portion of Lake Gerard Park to a local property owner. A portion worth an estimated $540,000 has some neighbors worrying about losing open space.
Mine and my girlfriend's family have been coming here for years, so, I mean, it's just kind of like a nostalgic thing, We don't want to change any of that. We just want to come to the same spot, and it's relaxing.
Other Rehoboth groups are also pushing back against the potential sale, including the Rehoboth Beach Homeowners Association and Commissioner Suzanne Good, who tells CoastTV the sale would go against the city's goals of preserving parkland. City leaders will hold a public hearing about the possible sale this afternoon at 2 o'clock.
And more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Cambridge Covets volunteers will tell you what positions it says are open within government and how leaders say you can get involved in your community.
Also, when NBA teams will play, the association schedule's out, and we look at what it means for Washington and the 76ers.
In hospital extension expected, we'll tell you what changes to be aware of at Tidal Health Peninsula Regional as it undergoes construction. Stay with us on CoastTV News Today.
6:42 as we're watching a gorgeous sunrise on this Friday morning in Laurel, eventually burning off this fog, but still some dense fog through the next couple of hours as we had 2 miles visibility, now 10 in Salisbury. So it's fluctuating. So we have areas of fog. Just be careful out there the next couple of hours. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s out the door, and the winds have shifted to the northeast. That means we're going to see slightly cooler, slightly drier conditions today with sunshine this morning. There's that front to our southeast that cleared out a lot of that heat and humidity. I still have the yellow alert, the yellow light, I should say, for the areas of fog this morning, and then dry and pleasant as we go into this afternoon. And congratulations to Mike Palmer from Millsboro on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Here this morning, an update on construction at Tidal Health Peninsula Regional in Salisbury. The healthcare organization says starting Wednesday, August 20th, a temporary sidewalk will be in place on East Vine Street. It will connect the same-day surgery entrance to the Richard A. Henson Cancer Institute. And in the coming weeks, crews will add striping and make enhancements to crosswalks and sidewalks in that area. Officials say the work is part of its endoscopy expansion program.
Road work is set to begin next week on Carroll Street in Salisbury, and officials say drivers should plan for some delays. You can see that area we are talking about on your screen right now. Crews will work on a paving project from Route 13 to Circle Avenue. According to the city, work takes place August 18th with an expected completion of August 22nd. Work will include milling, paving, and striping. Salisbury Mayor Randy Taylor says the project will result in 2 lanes in each direction, separate bike lanes, and safer pedestrian crossings. The city says it plans to finish before the Maryland Folk Festival on September 19th.
We're expecting the release of the 2026 NASCAR schedule to occur later this month, and already there are reports of big changes for the Dover Motor Speedway. The New York Times sports site, The Athletic, is reporting, and backed up by one of my sources, that there's strong consideration of putting NASCAR's May All-Star race at the Monster Mile. That is an exhibition race. It doesn't count towards the NASCAR Cup Championship. Reports say that North Wilkesboro, which has hosted the All-Star race the last 2 years, will swap their respective race events with Dover.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
On the hardwood, the NBA unveiled its entire schedule for the upcoming season. I get it, we're still a few months out from training camp and opening night, but let's see what this all means for the Wizards and Sixers. Washington fans, fair warning, I'm going to allude to the draft lottery. The Wizards open their year playing on the road, going to Milwaukee, then flying south to Dallas, and against the Mavericks, 2 top-tier rookies do battle. The number 1 pick, Dallas's Cooper Flagg, faces the number 6 selection, Washington's Trey Johnson. Now let's look at the big picture for the 76ers. Philly is set to play 16 back-to-backs. That is tied for the most in the league. Not a recipe for success, with veterans Joel Embiid and Paul George, who are both over 30 years old, Embiid being 31, George being 35, and they're already battling injuries this offseason. Now, speaking of PG-13, he faces one of his former teams, the Clippers, in early February out in LA. And man, I mean, Paul George has a lot to live up to this season, signing that big contract already banged up. The Sporting News released an article yesterday calling him one of the worst contracts in Philly history, and he's barely played for the team. Can playoff P get the 76ers back on track? We'll see. That does it for sports. Have a great day.
And coming up tonight on DSN, 7 p.m., it's the 2025 Zap Pro AM skimboarding competition. Then it's the final score at 10:30. And on DSN Plus, 6 o'clock, we got some high school football. Isle of Wight Academy taking on Arcadia.
And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
Happy Friday, Coast Life. You made it to the end of the week, but we can kick off your weekend with some Coast Life here at 4 o'clock. You don't want to miss if maybe your house needs a little bit of a facelift or driveway situation. Well, our friends at Liberty Concrete can be that little magic touch to make your curb appeal that much better. We've also got our pet of the week, a cute little kitten to introduce you to, and we're going to talk some foster opportunities with our friends at Brandywine Valley SPCA. And if you've been watching Coast TV for a while now, maybe you've been wondering, what does a day in the life of one of our reporters look like? Well, we've got that story for you too. All that fun and more is happening today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
It's a live look into Lewis right now. Looks like the tide's running out of Roosevelt Inlet. Beautiful shot there. Some areas of morning fog. Take it slow on the roads through mid-morning. Otherwise, a bit drier and cooler today, and then nice weather into the weekend and warmer and a little muggier by Sunday. Your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
49, and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. And Bob, this is one of my favorite cameras. You can see high above there the sky, that beautiful sunrise. That is a great view on a Friday morning.
Really great perspective, isn't it, Alicia?
It
You can
is.
see the fog kind of hugging the surface of the ground, and then above it's clear skies. So it's going to take a little while for that fog to burn off next couple of hours. So make sure you use caution. And then we'll see sunshine as we go through the day, and the weekend is looking good. 83 on Saturday, a wind off the ocean. That wind shifting to the south on Sunday, close to 90 and a little more humidity, but mostly sunny skies both days. But we're still battling some fog around the Salisbury area. It says 10 miles here, but previously it said 2. So the visibility is fluctuating all across the area. So we'll be dealing with that fog for the next couple of hours, then it'll be gone. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s and low 70s inland areas. 71 in Millsboro and Seaford, a little warmer at the beaches, mid-70s there. Ocean City at 76, and dew point temperatures in the 60s and 70s. It's still humid, but not as bad as the previous days, as the wind's coming in out of the northeast right now, and we're seeing drier conditions. We had a front that kicked off all that rain yesterday, moving to our southeast with the flow coming out of the northeast right now around high pressure across southeast Canada, and this front is suppressing a lot of the tropical moisture back across the Carolinas right now. The fog burns off, the sunshine this afternoon, and by noon into the mid to upper 80s inland areas, 70s at the beaches, and a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with mid 80s, maybe a spotty shower, otherwise quiet into the evening hours. But watch for fog and low clouds building back in overnight and into Saturday morning, 60s and 70s with some of that fog, but then beautiful by the afternoon with low to mid 80s, cooler 70s at the coast. And then your Sunday morning, watch out heading off to church, could see some fog, temperatures in the 60s, and then beautiful into the afternoon, mid to upper 80s with 70s and 80s at the beaches. Here's our muggy meter. It's still on the humid side the next couple of days, and then much drier and cooler into next week. What feels like temperatures in the mid 90s today, a little better tomorrow, a little cooler, and then low 90s again on Sunday. We're still looking at tropical storm Aaron on the verge of becoming a hurricane, moving towards the Lesser Antilles. I think it'll move to the north of the islands and then develop into a major hurricane, maybe a Category 4, before it makes that turn to the north, and then it moves parallel to the east coast. But all the models, the spaghetti plots, are taking this out to sea. So we're going to be feeling the indirect effects with coastal flooding and definitely maybe some beach erosion and some rip current risks as well. So we'll be watching for that. 86 in Seaford, 85 in Laurel today. Good looking weather there. 87 in Cambridge and Vienna, with 86 in Salisbury, 83 in Ocean City. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 83 Saturday, 89 Sunday. Lower 80s next week, maybe a storm chance on Wednesday, and then feeling the indirect effects of Aaron beginning on Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Bob. Cambridge is looking for people to step up and serve on its boards and commissions. According to the city, there are open seats on the Mayor's Accessibility Committee, the Historic Preservation Committee, and the Board of Appeals and Ethics Commission. Officials say more positions could become available later. People can submit applications online or in person, and officials will accept forms until September 12th. More information on this is available on our app and CoastTV.com.
The time is now 6:53, and we are going to check in with our Coastal Pet of the Day.
And today's Coastal Pet of the Day again comes to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. On your screen is a super chill cat, and that's because that's her name. Chili is a super friendly girl who's ready to wiggle her way into your home and heart. She loves using her voice to solicit attention, and we're being told she'll be your best friend. If you just can't go another day without bringing Tiger, who we had in the 5 o'clock hour, Chili, or any other precious pet, just head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where the QR code is. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:56, and we are going to take another look at your Friday forecast before you head out the door.
All right, let's have ourselves a weekend, everybody.
Yes, let's have it. Let's have it. And we're looking good heading into the weekend, Matt and Elisa, but we're dealing with that fog this morning. It looks like the bullseye of the lowest visibility is near Salisbury right now, but don't let your guard down elsewhere. We're still looking at pockets of fog 5 miles in Ocean City. That fog will lift here in the next hour or two. Here's your day part forecast into the sunshine. A cooler and drier northeast flow today with temperatures in the mid-80s this afternoon. A little cooler at the beaches, 70s for you. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast, looking great heading into the weekend. Saturday, 83. It does warm up more so on Sunday, 89 with more humidity. And then behind a cold front, it starts to cool off. Lower 80s really much of next week and dry, except for Wednesday, where we're looking at showers and thunderstorms. And we'll be watching Hurricane Erin lurking off the coast. That's going to build the waves, the rip current risk, and maybe the chance of coastal flooding as well. Probably beginning Wednesday and lasting through Friday. And next weekend, lower 80s and maybe a storm chance by Sunday.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News Today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV Midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Friday morning, everybody.